LiberalViewer presents.
So I don't usually make videos solely about other YouTubers, but after Lee Doran uploaded a video to his How the World Works channel purporting to show one of my videos was dishonest, I got requests from several longtime subscribers to respond with a video of my own, even though I actually responded to that video within hours of its upload, posting a series of 8 comments pointing out the errors in Lee's analysis, to which Lee still has not replied almost 2 weeks later, and which you can now see memorialized along with a player for his video at tinyurl.com/htwwmisleads. Having given these detailed criticisms with quotes and time indexes to which Lee has never responded, I don't think I need to revisit each point, but I will repeat that Lee's so-called fisking video failed to address the 2 main criticisms I made of Fox News in my video, which he was supposedly fisking. Not responding first to my criticism that Fox News failed to tell its viewers the topic of Obama's speech was succeeding in school, even though that's the topic about which kids would be answering questions, and also not responding to my criticism that Fox News also failed to give the most current information to viewers, even though ABC News got more current information from the White House more than an hour earlier. In fact, Lee even failed to respond to the one criticism I made of him in my video when I used him as an example of over-the-top rhetoric on the right because of his comparison of the actions of the Obama administration to a Stalinist dictatorship. Now, I suppose I could chalk up the failure of Lee's fisking attempt and his inability to respond to my detailed criticisms of it just as Lee having a bad day, but it also fits into a pattern both before and since that makes me think Lee just doesn't care about being honest with his viewers. I first noticed this tendency last March when Lee got in a fight with one of my YouTube friends, Thunderfoot, and while others have made videos exposing how thoroughly Lee lost that argument, in one video in that series called Expert Ignorance, Lee caught my attention when he argued that spending on health care does not fit into any of the enumerated powers of the federal government in the U.S. Constitution, as you can see here.
Police is a legitimate function. Military is a legitimate function. Healthcare, however, that's not enumerated in the federal government. Therefore, the states are responsible for it if they see fit that they want to spend money on that.
Now, I've heard people on the right make that kind of argument before, but when Lee tried to use history and constitutional law to back his argument up, those are 2 subjects in which I put substantial study, so I knew he was making factually and logically erroneous claims in this clip.
Just read quotes from the father of the Constitution, James Madison. James Madison said, and I quote, "I cannot undertake to lay my finger on that article in the Constitution which granted a right to Congress of expending on objects of benevolence the money of its constituents."
Now, because I've studied history and constitutional law, I immediately knew that Lee's argument was both factually and logically erroneous, and I posted 2 comments to his video explaining why, pointing out that he was factually wrong to claim he was quoting Madison when he was actually quoting a paraphrase of an argument Madison made in 1794 when the U.S. Congress was considering giving federal money as a charitable donation to Haitian refugees, and as I also pointed out in the comments, Lee's argument was logically erroneous because if you read the account of the 1794 debate, someone answered Madison's question by citing the General Welfare Clause in Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution authorizing the expenditure, and the U.S. Congress ended up passing the bill to aid Haitian refugees. So the evidence Lee cited actually argued against his position, but Lee never posted any correction to his factual or logical errors and never even replied to my comments, and though I never subscribed to the How the World Works channel, I watched enough of his videos and read enough of his comments since then to know that that is how he works, as I noticed again the next month when Lee again decided to comment in one of my areas of expertise, making a video that complained about a report from the Federal Department of Homeland Security that warned of a possible terrorist threat from right-wing extremist ideologies, to which Lee then added the gratuitous smear of the American Civil Liberties Union that you can see here.
And by the way, where is the ACLU about this? Answer, the ACLU is not about civil liberties, it's about leftist politics, period.
Now, I've been a member and volunteer with the ACLU for a long time, and I know it's a non-partisan organization defending the civil liberties of everyone, having defended in the past right-wingers like Jerry Falwell, Oliver North, and Rush Limbaugh, and even worse, on the issue of this DHS report specifically, all I had to do was go to the ACLU website and put the letters DHS in the search engine, and a blog of rights post from the ACLU's Michael German came up from the day before Lee's video, in which the ACLU criticized the very DHS report that Lee was complaining about. But when I posted a comment to Lee's video pointing out his mistake, Lee again posted no correction and made no reply to my comment, and his smear against the over 500,000 patriotic Americans like me who support the non-partisan ACLU still plays on his channel today. So I pretty much gave up on fact-checking Lee's video given his apparent lack of concern for accuracy, but After this latest run-in between us, I finally got him to engage with me in a discussion of the multiple factual inaccuracies in one of his more recent videos where I caught him saying this.
John Holdren, our science czar who wasn't confirmed by Congress, needs to go immediately. The guy is the biggest lunatic I think ever in the history of our country to be in our government, and I'm not exaggerating. The guy is for sterilizing the water supply. He's been quoted. He's for forced abortions.
So Lee made 3 factual errors in less than 15 seconds there, so in an attempt to engage him on the need for factual accuracy, I posted comments to his video pointing out that none of the links in the sidebar led to any quotes from John Holdren saying he supported forced abortion or sterilization, and even worse, John Holdren isn't even a so-called czar because he was confirmed by Congress. Although Lee eventually admitted he was wrong about Holdren being one of those czars not confirmed by Congress, he never took the word czar out of the title of his video, and he never thanked me for pointing out his mistake, but instead he actually attacked me, calling me a fool, and just sticking with his false smears of John Holdren, going as far as to say that his claim that Holdren supports forced abortions is supported by this quote from a book Holdren co-authored. I responded with more comments pointing out that in that quote, Holdren only says that compulsory abortions could be constitutional, not that he supports them, but as the evidence of his errors mounted, Lee just increased the level of his personal attacks while decreasing his intelligibility, writing in part, quote, "If you cannot look at a quote of someone saying that is it constitutional to force people to abort their babies if the population crisis gets worse and scare people about a fake population crisis, you are for forced abortions. Get out of here, you're a joke. I call you're a liar because you're a liar." Unquote. And I'm not sure how to react to that level of vitriol and dishonesty, especially since I've tried to treat Lee civilly throughout our communications, and I've only shown you a few of the many examples of Lee reacting to simple factual corrections with name-calling and personal attacks. And I've only shown you a few of the many factual and logical errors I found him making on YouTube, so much so that I've begun to think that his over-defensiveness may be a cover for a real inability to understand his own mistakes, but I want to know what you think. Do you think the consistent pattern of factual dishonesty I've shown throughout the How the World Works videos is the result of an attempt at intentional deception, or is Lee Doran really unable to understand the difference between truth and spin? And whatever your answer to the first question, given the consistent pattern of factual dishonesty I've shown throughout the How the World Works videos, why would anyone believe anything Lee says in any of his videos without doing independent research using reliable sources?
YouTube, you decide.